Hello.
There we go.
Howdy.
Hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Looking at DSAR at the moment. Might have a little retracement though, so. We'll see if anybody else comes in here. So is that the right? If the long bands in the 5 minute aren't shifting towards, don't play long. If it's up here, I mean, you're playing a riskier play. Right? Like if you're up yonder. Oh shit. My bad. So if you're playing it, you know, right through here, that's why it's important to have those have these other monitors open or charts. So it looks like it finally bounced, right? It was a double bounce. It finally bounced off this deviation. But it could close under this VWAP like it's done before. So it's something we'd have to watch out for today. Right? Either it's going to shift down to right through here, but if it goes this low, then might want to wait. So I'm looking at PAC, which is just at the bottom. The long bands are still pointing down. Yeah, I mean, if this is like smoothing out through here, these longer bands, right? Let me try this. Red. Let's change it to blue. So we can see. So like this arc that's going on right here is a little concerning. But there is divergence because of how this arc is happening as well. But it seems like it wants to roll. So if it starts rolling, sort of like what it does over here on this spike through this range, it's supposed to be showing through all these. Do you have a mic yet? Because it's hard to see the chart and read sometimes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
That
good.
works. Cool, cool.
I had to go to the BIOS settings to turn that stupid thing on. I guess I'm not worried about my privacy.
Right?
Every time I talk to my girlfriend, Google has something waiting for me on the search results.
Oh, I know, dude. You can't get away with anything now.
Nope.
It follows you everywhere.
Yep. Yep. Advertisements, everything. Even like 2 days later, they try to get you to forget about it. But my app remembers everything I say, so almost everything.
Yeah, she knows what I'm getting her before I do.
Yeah. Just look at the phone.
It was like, oh, you're getting me a necklace. How sweet. What? How did you figure that one out? And Google's like, because I figured it out, chump. Don't worry, I got your credit card.
Look at ACRS. I like the way the 5-minute long bands are starting to squeeze and go horizontal, but I can't tell when you said whether or not a squeeze is a good thing or a bad thing.
The problem with like some of these is you see how there's like no data back here.
Yeah, it's a young stock.
Yeah, it's young. And young stocks can burn you sometimes, right? Because the young stocks are more like a penny stock because they.
So if you look at the history, it kind of looks like it already had its peak. It went to like 30 something.
Yeah.
So would you look at that and be like, okay, this is kind of a strong bottom?
Yeah, I mean, the highest was 32.
Uh-huh.
And that was when?
That was earlier before the summer.
Yeah.
And now it's back to its opening price or near it.
It's testing though. See, there's a little bit of resistance through this deviation line. So I always have to change these every morning because how I do things. But all right.
Because
So
those lazy bear plots, it looks like it wants to bounce off the lower RSI.
So if you look at the 5-minute here, right? We're just looking at the bands for now. If you look at the 5-minute, so this line that I drew is the overbought.
Okay.
So what it looks like to me is it needs to bounce now, or it's going to keep falling through this deviation path.
Okay.
So either it's gonna start rolling up right now, or it's gonna just keep falling like that. And then you just have to wait, and set an alert, right? Because you'll usually find out pretty fast with these fast movers. If it dips down, then you just want to put alert somewhere and see if you can buy the bottom or not. But if it just doesn't, if it looks like a downtrend, which on the hour it looks like shit, right? Because it's still just going down.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost the same scenario like GE was doing.
Yeah.
When GE was $8. So, it might be a little play in there somewhere, but just be cautious, like.
Can we look at PCG? We were looking at this last week, and the shorter time frames are starting to point upwards.
With this one?
Yeah, PCG.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Look at gas. So I guess my question would have been, how do you know when to catch it when the long bands are starting to point upward, and that kind of gives you your signal that it's ready to start moving up?
I think it's more important to know when to catch the bounce. And if we look, sometimes these bounces are a little more difficult to catch. Obviously this is not a bounce because this could have kept falling.
Yeah.
Right. So you wouldn't have trusted that data. Yeah. You would have waited for an actual bounce. So this would have been, you would have had to monitor the RSI and a lower time frame. So if we blow up this 5-minute, even though it's going to act wonky on me. Make sure my drawing's off. So if we look through, let's see, it was a spot I was like right here. Okay. It stopped dropping past this. Okay. Before it dropped past here, it climbed, but it never went past this VWAP. It stayed above it. Okay. So the RSI even signaled that it was time for it to go up. A little more consolidation, but it started climbing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're at that a different transition. Now it could retrace or go down and test like $25. So the reason why I say $25 is because this VWAP right here is this VWAP, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I believe so. Let me that's why I like to turn everything on and off, and I don't even have to turn off the long bands if I want to. I can just turn off the middle lines. So if I'm correct, it should. There we go. So that's your bouncer, right?
Yeah.
It likes to bounce there. It made more sense to bounce here because it was already oversold in the green bands. Okay. So that's really important to see as well, because if you'll get some circumstances where, it's in this gray area or in the middle, and sometimes they don't bounce here. This is just, the scenario, it did bounce, not that much, and it dropped, right? But see this, and really, they're actually, the bands are giving you a heads up. Like, look, bro, look, remember this? Remember what happened here? Oh yeah. Okay, well, if you buy here, you might get burned. Oh yeah, that's a good point. But what I like to do in these scenarios is check the hour just to see if there is looking like a little small dip before it goes up, and see the RSI is way overbought.
Yeah.
And then you're also in the red bands as well, so I would watch this one, be honest with you.
Yeah. I didn't want to play this. I know that I missed it. I missed the climb up.
Did miss it. Yeah. It's okay though.
Yeah.
The one I was looking at here was PAC. I don't know if this one's ready yet either, but it looks a lot healthier. You see what I'm saying? So like, oh yeah, I could have bought right here, right? This was the initial bounce, okay? Because it was down in the green, RSI squeezed, right? Anytime you see a squeeze like this on the RSI, you know it's going to go up. So really? Yeah, there's sort of like a squeeze happening again. And the only concern I have at this moment are the short bands. The short bands are sort of rounding, right? So it could consolidate through here a little bit more. And then the long bands are kind of curving down too. So I don't know if it's just the EXT hours that are there's some selling pressure or something going on. But well, let me see. Hold on. I always say that, and then I like double check again. I'm like, oh shit, there it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any rolls, man. Like I'd like to see some curvature going on here so I can see a little divergence play. So this might like drop again, but this is definitely one that you want to pay attention to.
That long band is like the half hour, right?
Yeah. You can, that's a great thing with the if you have all these out, you can switch and go to like a 30-minute.
Yeah. But I mean, that long band on the 5-minute, that's pretty much like almost a 30-minute chart, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you like, so it is 30 minutes, but you see how I'm like validating that?
Yeah.
With the other one. Yeah. So you can do that trick too. So it helps to have
that ratio, the 390 to 70, that kind of gave me the clue of what the ratio is. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of see it's streamlining with this bigger deviation. Okay. So either it's going to bounce, right? Because it is in the green, even though it doesn't say this on this chart, it does on this chart, right? That it is in the green. So when you're in like a live trade, that's why I have all these different intervals, because I want to see where the resistance are or how the flow looks, right? So that we need a roll. It needs to roll now. If this is going to work or not. If, you know, my factory worker is going to be able to produce me any money today, he's got to, you know, he's got to show me. So those are things that I'm looking at personally.
Look at JBT. It's on the cheap side. I don't think today is the play, but it's getting close.
JBT, John Bean. So one thing I want to like point out real quick, just and I'm also going to mention this in the course too, is airlines and like hotels, and those are the like bigger plays, because that's the holidays. That's the best time to look at airlines and hotels. You might get a higher, you know, significant bounce than you would on some of these other stocks, right? The volatility for some of these other stocks might be higher than, say, airlines, right? And that's kind of basically the market cycles. So yeah, it's really, and which I'll explain in the course as well. But it's really important to kind of grasp those, because there are certain times that other stocks or assets are going to outperform others. So, and you can, you know, make more money from it. Now, with that being said, John Bean, let me change the colors. Looks gross. All right. So we do see a green. It's not strong green though. You know, there could be some more sell pressure.
Oh yeah. I was focused on the 1 day. It's bouncing off the bottom, the lower RSI.
Oh, shit.
And then after that, I started looking.
That was the daily. Oh, well, I mean, okay, so here's another scenario where you're already low on your RSI and it hasn't dropped below 76. Like it's still there, right? So what I like to do in these situations where it's touching, so let's just say the candle has not touched here yet, this guy, right? This bigger look back.
Yeah.
Okay. If it has not touched this area yet, then I can see some more room to go down. But if it has touched that area, then the first thing I do is I put an outline on that sucker. Okay. That's numero uno.
Yeah.
So I put it out. Did it put an outline there? There we go. So that's numero uno. That's the first thing I do. Because this is an area of support. This is a strong area of support because it did not go lower than that. Correct? So this could start rolling over soon. Okay. This would be one of those ones where the wait time would be insignificant. I think this would be a trade that you'd probably want to, you know, set an alert immediately if it crosses 76. So to see if you can get into the bounce or not. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing from this right now. And just because if I look at the daily bands, right? The daily bands are going up. See, this is even though this kind of dipped down, the bands are still kind of moving in an upper direction, right? Yeah. It might be it might be cooling off a little bit, right?
Yeah, look at the upper shorter band is not going up, is not diverging as strong as the lower shorter band.
Well, it's actually they're combining with each other. So this could be in a stage of this is going to start rolling and maybe consolidating, and maybe it'll start building a support to see, you know, this is more of like a accumulation for this stock here, right? So there's going to be some stocks in distribution and there's going to be accumulation. This could be an accumulation example, pretty much like what happened here. So they were just waiting for more shareholders to come in and join the party. So this could be one of those situations, right? So we call this, you know, some people would say it's consolidation. I call it accumulation because they're two different things.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, okay. So I have a question. This stock has never been in the lower band since 2012. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or does it matter?
Always good to know like some historical evidence on the past of these things. So it is a interesting thing to know that it's actually testing lower. If you get into a situation where you're finding a stock, you know, in its present state, and it's way below, you know, it's in that normal price range or whatever, that's when you could probably hit up the Finbix or something and see what the lowest low is and get some more information on that ticker if it's something that you want to invest in. So there's a difference between, you know, these like the longer term investments or the active trading, you know, that we do. So one of these ones, you just put your order in and just let it go. Like, don't look at the charts, you know?
Yeah, I took a look at the cash flow in this company. I would totally invest in this company.
Right. So, you know, there becomes the mental side. If it's an investment, right? So I don't want people to think I'm just like anti-news or anti, you know, information on something. I'm dude, like I was saying before, I said in the course, if, you know, there are certain times when you need to pay attention to the news if it's something you're investing into. So if I'm investing into Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg kills his wife, right? The shareholders are probably going to say, all right, you know, he didn't get her that necklace. Things got wild. You know, he killed her. You know what I'm saying? So that stock's going to plummet. But there has been examples of news, right, coming straight from SEC, which is very important to follow. Not the news from CNBC, but SEC news. Okay. Because they're going to know it first because it's their money. Yeah. So they're insuring it. So the thing is, for instance, if you look at Chipotle, right? Chipotle had a great thing going on for it. I got caught up in the whirlwind of, you know, holding on to it as well. And then there was food poisoning. Okay. Well, the stock's plummeted, right? So it burns if you're in an investment situation, if it goes lower than your price. And then you just hold on to it, which in that, you know, in that scenario, it would have been fine because Chipotle went back to its monster size again. You could say the same thing with Tesla. So Tesla also, you know, this was recent, took a plummet because they barred, you know, Musk from chair or something. So I even told the group, right, that he'll probably get a slap on the wrist and he'll be able to, you know, be the CEO and get a fine or something, right? Like he's not gonna get barred. Okay. They're not gonna get rid of Tesla. So I wasn't too concerned. So in that situation, I already sold, right? So I sold high. I sold it when it was almost $400. But some people were still holding it. Okay. That's where you get burned. You need to know, and especially for market cycles, when the high highs and the low lows, you need to know when to sell these things. And the bands give you that, you know, the opportunity to do so. There's only so much time that these bands will ride up in this red. Eventually it's going to crack. Once it starts falling off, you know, the higher deviations, right? Then you can see it soaring away from that price zone. So ironically enough, yes, it fell through here, right? But it you know, it gained its momentum and climbed back up. But the bigger narration is it was moving away. The bands are like taking off from the price. Now sometimes you get like Amazon, right? Which, you know, I was talking about this summer where it was just riding this wave and this deviation. Okay. But as soon as I saw that it was, you know, not able to hold in this deviation, it's like, okay, let's looking for somewhere cheaper, you know. And these are the cycles that, you know, that also you need to be aware of, and not just the indicator, but the indicator confirms it for you. So it's good to take profit when you should take profit. You shouldn't be greedy, and you gotta, that's an important, you gotta switch gears. So when it comes to, your bigger chips or investments and stuff.
Well, it looks like it's acting like a normal stock final.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's like, okay, it's perfect, right? We need corrections. Okay.
Yep.
If we don't have corrections, then we have volatility. Okay. So when there's corrections, everything's right back on track.
Yep.
Even, now the extreme correction on Bitcoin, right? That's a different scenario because investors aren't backing up that asset like they're backing up Amazon. These guys who bought Amazon 99 think they're going to leave? No. They bought it damn cheap, right? 99.
Especially with that HQ2 investment.
Yeah, so they're billionaires or millionaires from this stock. So they're not going to get out of this, okay? They're hardcore, right? This thing could drop almost to zero. I mean, if it's going to drop lower than, I would say if it bails out past 1,000, I could definitely see a lot of investors like saying, I'm out of here, right? Well, that was kind of the same scenario with Bitcoin. It couldn't hold up in 20K, right? It failed the distribution, the accumulation period. You could say maybe now, right? If it starts rolling over on that 3K-ish range, it could just consolidate, for a long time until the investors feel like there's enough accumulations. And then they're like, all right, let's buy it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we necessarily buy it if it's at the green. That just means that we pay attention to it. So that's the nice visual operator that we have with the indicators. We can visually see how these investors are playing.
I have a question. Look at April of this year on Amazon.
Yeah. So another cool trick you can do on TradingView is you can hit this and look up different dates.
Oh, nice.
You can do different time settings. And what's cool is it'll put like a specific like little tag on it. So if I click here, see, it just pops it right there. Boom.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
On the lower RSI, would you have played that even though it was on the upper band?
No, because I would have held this, and I'll tell you why. Because this never touched 30.
Okay.
It rolled.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And technically you could still say it touched right here, right? So then there was this drop. So if you look at the price, you see what I'm saying? You see where the candle is?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why it bounced again. The same reason it bounced over here, because it never touched that 30. So once it dipped again, that's when it started climbing down. So even the bands were shooting downwards, but now it's in the green. It's deeper into this green area, so it's trying to bounce. But the significance here is there was a little accumulation going on, right? Small accumulation, and then it started going up again. So this could be the same thing. It could have started accumulating in this price range and then start going up again. But this is not a panic attack if you bought very low, right? If I bought at $700, I'm holding on to this sucker because, it could cost me more just to get it out. So
what if you're walking into April and you wanted to buy?
Well, all right. So actually, that's a bad example. 2000 was the range, right? That was the high. 2000. I told the guys in chat, I was like, yeah, $2,000. That's where Amazon's going. Nah, you're crazy. No, it's going there, right? So I'm nuts. I know it. But another cool example is the way that the bands were, they're kind of just like rounding off a little bit, cooling down, if you will. So the bands would need to start taking off again in that other direction for me to, kind of see if it's going to start climbing up to higher highs, right? So if this was 2000 here, okay, then if we look at the deviation separation, it's at 2300, right? So if these were lower, if this was down, not in the 2000 range, then I could be like, all right, this thing's really cooling off. Like they don't even want to try to test that high price anymore, those higher resistance levels. So that's also important to know too, is the height of the different areas of the deviations. So really important. J-Row. Oh, J-Row, you turd. This was the accumulation, right? It really wasn't doing anything and it dropped. So it wasn't, let me make sure I'm not eating my own words. Yeah. So we are currently at 972. So I'm glad that my order didn't trigger, or I would have lost a little money. Not a lot, right? My stop losses way low. If it passed, okay. I'm convinced after it gets to like 76, it's going to go higher because it's accumulating a support on that in that 974 range. Okay. But this is a slow mover. This is not one of those fast moving stocks. So it might take some time, but the more this accumulates, the more these are going to squeeze. That means that the price isn't going to have much room anymore. So it's going to have to decide pretty soon. It could decide this morning if we're going to go up, right? Or we're going to dip down into this 950 range.
So look at it. You're on the 5 minute, right?
Yeah.
Turn on your EXT. And then you see the front end of the long bands are kind of pointing down on
exactly.
Both.
Yeah.
So is that the signal that it might go down again?
Yep. That's exactly what that means. If you ever see this type of signal, the thing is that you need to pay attention to is it's very fast. So this could turn to this, it could turn a frown to a smile and, hurt your checkbook if you guess it wrong. So the best thing to do is look for these areas of resistance. The multiplier, it really depends on how much time you want to spend on one particular ticker. And that's what I was getting onto.
What's his name yesterday?
Right. Because he was so consumed with GDS that he couldn't look, switch his gears and look at other things. That's one thing I can find that I can see inexperienced traders is they get tunnel vision and it's hard for them to turn it off, So now there are some people that will scalp one particular ticker. Is that always a good thing? No, because I don't think you're educating yourself how the market works. You're stuck on one. Well, buddy, if you're stuck on one ticker, you might as well just invest in it because you've already just lost profit on others that you could have played. So that's my point, right? Is these guys are so stuck on AMD that they're completely missing these other tickers that are making more profit than AMD in a less riskier fashion. Blows my mind, dude.
Yeah, that's the momentum, people. That's because that's the strategies that are being sold on YouTube.
That's the strategies on YouTube. Exactly. Whatever that group that you were in, that's how that guy trades. And Ori just sucked it up like a sponge, right? Because he's trying to get rich fast. But that is not how you get rich in the market and trading. It's accumulation. It's the same thing. We move with the market and we have growth just like the market does.
Take a look at a PCY.
PCY. Yeah, good. Got me off my tangent. I was about to go another hour just talking about because for me, I made this group for a production team. I didn't make it. I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna reap profit from it, but you're gonna freaking help too. I'm not gonna do all the work. So if it becomes that case, I'm just not gonna share anything because I'm like, whoop, nobody wants to pitch in and help, then hey, some people will take advantage of, oh, look at these guys' watch list and stuff. So
Yeah, exactly.
So, like you, right? If you put in a lot of work and, people aren't paying attention to your watch list, or they, are doing their own thing, you're going to stop posting it, because what benefit is it to you? And for me, it's more of like for instance, when you found EIX, right? That sucker went up 15%. You and I would have had a great weekend.
Yeah.
So the stuff like this, right, that you're doing right now, you're pointing out things that I can't see that we can both look at. So imagine if you have, 25 of these people doing the same thing. We can consistently have gains every single day. So that's my thought process.
So that was what was irking you with the momentum voice thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because how are they benefiting the group? No, they're benefiting themselves.
Yeah.
So I could have been the same way and never sold this indicator and benefit myself, right? Because I want to see how good of a trader they were before the indicator. I would like to see their profits, right? Because and honestly, I don't believe it, because I believe their mental focus wasn't there. So the indicator gave them a visual focus on how to look at the stocks in the technical matter and not a logic in a mental matter. So some of them pick it up, some of them still clueless. But that was, I still feel like their trading is better now, I would think, if they're playing by the indicator. I mean, right? I'm sure the mental edge gets you sometimes, and sometimes it gets me too. Mm-hmm. That's why I trade just in the morning. As I throw my orders in and stuff, I get those out of the way. I don't if my stop loss hit, oh well, all right, I'm not going to find something else.
Yeah, I got excited when you said that you set your orders and you take off to the gym. That's like the number one rule you don't break in momentum. And I just don't get stuck to my computer.
You know what happens? You become the stock. You're invested into it too much, right? You're letting the stocks control you.
Yeah.
You're not living a life. Who the fuck wants to stare at screens for 15 hours a day on a trade, Might
as well go back to corporate.
If you look at, exactly. If you look at Warrior Trading guy, I watch him, dude. He's got 10 monitors and he's staring at these things, and he's using a level 2 formula algo that's just hurts my eyes. I can't do that, dude. I can't. Props to him for making all the profit he's made, but damn, I don't want to work that hard, man. This guy's shoveling fucking dirt outside.
Yeah, he is.
I want to use a backhoe. I don't want to use a hand shovel.
Yeah.
So I need an easier way to make the profit, and I found it. But anyways, this is great on all the RSIs, but
one of them is matching 5 minute.
Thank you. That's probably why they're matching all the RSIs. Well, they're still matching all the RSIs. We still winning.
All right, good.
This is interesting because it hasn't dropped below this 25.49 range on this deviation. Okay. But do you see where it looks like it's rolling on the 5 minute?
Right.
But do you also see that the RSI, so basically the way I see it is it needs to bounce, right? Decision time is over. It's time to bounce. If it doesn't, it's going to keep dropping a lot lower, right? If it breaks this 25.50 zone, it's going $24 and then some. So I want to roll over. That's why I use the hourly, so I can see if it's rolling over.
Okay.
Right. And it's already broke the threshold, but it's done this shit before, right? Is history going to repeat itself? Can you still make profit from it? Well, yes. Could it bite you in the ass? Possibly. Right. I'm not going to take profit with 10 cents. I want higher than that.
Yeah.
I'm greedy. I'm not greedy, but the thing is that's one thing you want to pay attention to. So right now it's stuck in this channel here through this area. Okay. And you'll start, you might already see it, but you start seeing these patterns. And then, I'll switch it to like a 30-minute to see like the overall channel. So you can see that it keeps rejecting this VWAP. All right.
Okay.
So it could bounce here or keep going up. The problem is usually, right? Usually these guys need to do one of these numbers, right? So they get out of the deviations and then they create it as a support and then they just keep going, right? It might play off the short bands, but still it's the same thought process.
That's interesting. I wonder if there's a way to keep an eye on these things to see if that's a good gap predictor.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure the visual side and the signal side, are two things I'm still working on. So the visual side is what we see right now. The signal side is, I usually set alerts and stuff just to the deviations sometimes, so I can see if it's time to buy or not.
What do you think about me jumping in on open with a stop loss at the deviation at 25.49?
I think, for me, because it's like following the rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get into a scenario where you're kind of unsure, that's when you want to do a lot more TA to this thing. There's others where I'm like, this thing's bouncing, right? I just see it. This one in particular is interesting because it has, but the good news is it doesn't have that much room left to dick around, right? This guy needs to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
So either it's going to break through this 25.46 plane and just keep going down, or it's going to bounce. So it could be very volatile this morning.
Yeah.
Is my point. Is you can wait and then catch the bounce, right? So you could put your order in a little higher, and sometimes I'll play that route too, because you do see even on this 5-minute chart, it's rejected many, many times off this VWAP.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put your buy order, I like to find some kind of support or something, or a resistance through here. Okay. So I do see there was resistance on the candles. Okay. So in this scenario, this 25.63, I'll probably look at that price range, 25.63, as I say it again, and see if there was a resistance area. So this was like it was hitting this upper band, right? And then it was rejecting. So this might be an area where you see it's kind of rounding still.
Yeah.
You might want to wait. So just because it's rejected this VWAP as well. So if you were in a scenario, if you didn't want to play if you wanted to play this safer, there's two ways you can play it. You don't catch the bounce and you just put an order in a little higher that has a solid support, which is 26.
Yeah.
So, you can do it that way too, because if it does, the problem is you're missing profit too, right? But sometimes the less riskier methods are waiting for it to bounce on that top deviation.
26 is the upper long band on the 5-minute.
Right. And it's rejected before.
Yeah.
So it's one of those scenarios where this thing needs to start rolling up because it's rejected before through here. This makes it risky.
Yeah.
So really, really good question. Good. Very, very important. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm just going to grab some coffee.
All right. I'm going.
Another kind of like a lesson I want to talk about too is expectations. When we start putting expectations on tickers, we're getting like way too invested into the trade.
Yeah.
The season of the index was this summer. Those were playing the high low range. Okay, and a good way to sort of point that out is I actually drew the high low range on this chart. So it was doing this almost something similar that Amazon was doing, right? But here, this is our high low range right through here. Okay. Now, if it bounces through here right now, okay, if it can get past this range that it's stuck into, maybe it needs to accumulate a little bit, right? So let it accumulate. It's not gonna, our expectations is like, okay, hit this bottom here, it's gonna freaking pounce. It's gonna go right up. That's not true all the time. It doesn't work that way. It'd be great if it did. We'd be making money constantly. But we have to pay attention to the tech sectors when QQQ is an accumulation zone, because the techs are probably doing the same thing, right? Because that's what the index is, right? It's just getting the overall volume throughout the tech sector. So if we look at this one, for instance, we can see this particular range. As long as it doesn't go below 155, as an investor, it's fine. If you bought really low, your high zone would have been to sell up here. Okay. Now, if you were back into the investment or were wanting to get into the trade again, then you'd probably just want this to break out right through this 163, like completely get through it. So maybe even 164, 165 would probably be where your order would want to be. So that's kind of my point, is these other movers are not really fast. So you have more time to make a decision and prepare your strategy on how you want to put your order in and stuff. So pretty important to look at these ranges as well. So how did I make these? Well, the same way that we did the multiplier. The only difference is I just took the high of that and then the low of that and erased all the other lines and made some pretty little squares or rectangles. So it just gives me the zone, right, of the price zone of what I can, look at overall. Kind of get out of this whole area right here. Who cares? If it bounces here, it should go up. That's how I look at it. If it breaks this and keeps going down, it's going to keep going down. So it really, it helps. It's good practice to do these. Okay.
What about that little dip in February, that 150 dip?
See, that's why I do this date thing, because my eyes.
The February of this year. Oh yeah, you can. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
See a little dip that broke past the green horizontal.
So you want to be a detective at all times, okay? Yeah. Especially with the indicator, because it throws shit like this at you. You say, no way, no. I'm trying to follow the Thomas's rules here, and you're breaking them, because you weren't supposed to go up like that. You're supposed to dip and touch that deviation, and you didn't. You did right here, but you didn't right here. Why did you go up? So what I look at is not this wick here. Okay. I actually look at the full body candle.
Okay.
Where it bounced, which was that 155. Okay. So you have to kind of go back in flashback mode. When you wrote the lines for the multiplier, that was holding a support zone somewhere. So you have to kind of wrap your brain around that sometimes, of why it did bounce. And it's showing you right here. In this green line, it bounced because was an area of support. So it kind of it solves the riddle for you. Don't worry about the Daniel Russo, sweep the leg, Johnny. Don't ignore that wick. Okay. That's how they trap, these traders. I mean,
That's true. We're coding for the close anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're not too concerned about the wicks. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what I do like try to get across to people, is let's see if we can find another. Oh, I have to say too, Canadian might be on to something. That's my buddy, who uses a similar indicator, but he might be on to something with this AI list.
Really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Oh.
He might be on. I could almost do a podcast. I really could. I have the voice for a podcast and everything. And then I have great audience. Like we could just do podcast like Joe Rogan. But no, he created this, he wrote this from Python. And because he's a very talented programmer, which we know, right?
Yep.
So he was showing me, he didn't show me, but he told me, like, or he copy and pasted his watch list. He's like, this is from that machine learning algo that I've been building. I'm like, oh, okay. So I haven't really broke down or asked him like, hey, so what are your perimeters? What are you looking for? So it's interesting because a lot of his AI didn't really fit the whole criteria of the bands. Like there was some in there that I wouldn't have touched. I've been like, no way, I'm not touching that one. But I started like, I put the watch list, that AI list on my TOS account just to see. Every single one of those things went up.
Wow.
Yep. They all went up.
Wow.
Ford, Starbucks, PG, WC. Unbelievable. I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, what? All right. If Canadian throws out a watch list, I'm paying attention to it because it could be some serious money makers. And, Canadian's always been super private about like all his crap. It's unfortunate, but, I have to respect the guy.
Yeah.
So,
signal he did, that was a tough one on me. It pissed me off.
Oof, God, to this day, it hurts my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he started popping off that list, and what was interesting is I even asked him, I was like, well, can you do sectors as well? And he said, sure. So let me see if I can pop up that. I don't know who joined, but all right, Market Muse. All right, Market. I was a little hard on you yesterday, okay? But I love you, all right? And I love you in the most non-loving way. But the things that I say can come off as a direct, you're like, what a dick, right? But I'm watching, I'm looking out for you, okay? You're kind of like my investment, okay? Because you gave me money, right? So I gotta, give you something back, but in return, you're gonna give me something back. You see what I'm saying? So, and then you can do the same shit on someone else, and the student becomes the teacher. So I'm trying to teach this to you guys so you can all be, successful traders, and this company or whatever we have here can grow even bigger. So Elliott waves, get that shit out of your mind. Okay. They're terrible. Elliott was a nutcase. All right. Just don't do it, man. If you're trading with Elliott wave, you're trading with the guys who look at the fucking lunar eclipses. People took the lunar signs as like a real literal thing. Like we're really looking at the moon for our trading. That's not it just falls on a specific time frame. So, but it has nothing to do with, you know, so I don't want to like press it too much, but for the audience, right? For instance, Luca, you gotta talk to him, because we had a new guy show up last night, and sometimes these guys just show up out of nowhere. We have a Broadway going on. Okay. This is our theater. If people come into this Discord and they see the same shit that they've seen in other theaters, they're gonna want their money back and go somewhere else. So this Crow guy, I was talking to him. I had Farmer wrapped up into it too, man. He was like, we already like private messaged each other. So he was part of the Broadway play. Yeah. You know, he was one of my actors. So he was showing the chart and blah, blah, blah. And we were just trying to reel this guy in. And then your boy Luca comes in with like, ooh, I like Elliott waves and blah, 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 and this and shit. I was like, oh, no. Nah. We started confusing him. The problem is this indicator is already confusing. So when you throw other strategies on top of it, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Like, you got to learn either one or the other. And guess what? You bought mine and you invested into the course part. So I'm going to be a lot harder than I would be on some random that got the indicator, right? So that's my point. I'm going to be harder on my students than I am on anyone else, because I'm taking my time to teach how to use the indicator. So I'll only use like the RSI thing here or some volume. That's it. And it's because they correlate. The Elliott waves don't correlate with shit. So they don't. I've seen it too many times. I've seen people get burned where these TA guys, they write their Elliott wave theory out, and that shit goes the exact opposite of what they were saying. So it's just, unfortunately, you can't really trust it. Or
there's no formula for human psychology in Elliott waves.
Right. I mean, that's why I implemented Fibonacci into the indicator to help you with the mental side of the market, because it's the natural flowing numbers that happen every single day, and the pressure systems, just like the weather. So anytime you get up in the red, that's a high pressure system. It's not going to stay up there that long. Okay. Same way you do a Fibonacci retracement, where, you know, you do your retracements of your high and lows, and it's way up in the high. It's probably going to fall, right? Well, that's what these bands are. So we don't need to try to predict the different waves or where the A and B's. We don't need to. We just need to see what's going on with it, and that makes us better traders, because we're not getting so invested into this thing that it's controlling us. We're allowing to see where it needs to go or needs to bounce, and then decide if we want to trade it or not. And we can do that very quickly and look through a ton of different stocks very fast without spending a ton of time doing Elliott waves. Okay. Or even Fibonacci retracements, because this does that too. So I thought I'd just throw that out there. If there's any, like, you need to get very comfortable looking at different stocks with this indicator. That's what it was built for. It's a workhorse, and it can look through a ton of tickers. So that's the big thing why we can do these webinars in the morning, because we can get the data out a lot faster than if I spent freaking 4 hours or 5 hours drawing up Elliott waves and all the different charts that I found on the scanner. Oh, I'd get burned out so fast. So not mad or anything, and just throwing my my opinion. That's why I'm trying to help you get away from that. You don't need to think of this as like a leading indicator or lagging. This is your blueprint right here, and it's all you need. And if you learn how to trade off this specific blueprint, then you don't have to really use the other ones. Okay. So I mean, I've talked to like others before in this scenario, and some of them be like, well, I'm still going to do it. Well, I can't stop you, but I just don't want to see it in like the main chats and stuff. Just because, like I said, we're putting on a Broadway play, and I need my viewers to see what the uniqueness of this place. If I start seeing the same stuff, right? If I was coming into this chat room and I'm seeing the same stuff I saw in another chat room, right? I'm going to leave. Process of elimination. These guys aren't saying nothing different. I see these guys talking about AMD. Pfft. What's new? What's fun? What's unique? What's different? So that's what this community is for, is to be unique, to be different. Anyways, do we have other tickers that we want to look at? I was looking at RA. Why did I do that? Or actually, maybe that worked because it was on the top of the list. Yeah, I was looking at RA here just because it looks like it is trying to bounce. And okay, GSM, we'll take a look at that. So I'm looking at the resistance at $20. And am I on 2 dailies? Yes, I am. Let me switch these real quick. So this deviation here at $20. So I'm at 2012. So I do see this is the area of resistance that could happen. It could reject here at 2012. I'm just like talking to myself, but you know, broadcasting it so you guys see my thought process. So I'm looking at this price too. So this is 2039. Oops. So it would be above the daily, and it would still be climbing on the hourly. So that's a good sign. RSIs are low. This is a little high though. So it might want to bounce back down. It has room. It can bounce back down. Can it go this low? It can go that low, but it would be considered back into a bear mode. Okay, might want to wait off on RA. GSM. All right, so GSM is rolling over on the 60. Even the short and long bands are almost colliding with each other. But geez, man, that daily. RSI looks good. It's a little high on the RSI right here. So I wonder if this thing's going to dip down even more. This was what the fun was. Okay, when's the $17? It's done something like this before. Oh my gosh, my dog's freaking out. So this is the resistance on it here. put a line there. Is it really going to break through though? That's the question. Projected before off the VWAP, this longer one here, right? 216. That's where the VWAP is now. Let's see where that sticks with the rest of the group. Another resistance line back here. Also rejected this VWAP. It's the same VWAP, but even in the past has rejected this VWAP. So this particular group is not really looking to push the price up higher. So 244, let's put that down a little lower. So for me, I would want it to hold above 240, 234. And if it holds, then we're in the play. Then we can play this a lot longer. Okay, we can play it to $3 or $4. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's see how much time. I got 15 minutes. What else we got? We've been showing some potential iffy stuff.
Iffies? Yeah, I got a bunch of iffies.
A lot of iffies. If you see this too, like how it's in this middle range, it can go either way, boys. So something to look at. It's definitely in a squeeze. So either this thing's going to just like candle down and then bounce, or you're going to miss it fast. You'll just know the rules will be, they're implemented quickly. So if this thing can break through 216, pay attention to it. I don't even know if you'll have time to put an order in. You could put an order in at 216. But again, that's a risky play. Because what happens if you put an order in at 216 and then it drops? Well, it is falling. What's up?
So what if you put an order in that high and it touches a stop loss?
If you get through this guy, this will become your stop loss. Because to me, since it's so low in price, it's going to move really fast. Which we'll probably see it live. I mean, we got about 15 minutes or so until the market opens. But we'll, either it's going to hit down, but I would much rather see this down here and play it. If it was down here and everything looked good on the dailies, then I would probably put my order in. But because it's in this mid-range, it might burn you, just like it burned people here.
Mm-hmm.
So something to look at.
I gave you two on the screen for iffies, BKLN and UIS.
Belkin? Is that what that stands for?
No, that's what I thought at first too.
Oh,
this is an ETF.
Yeah, this is an ETF. Yeah, the ETFs are slow. I mean, it's definitely oversold, but do we want to play it yet? There might be a little more accumulation here, brother.
Yeah, that's why I put it in there iffy.
Yeah, just keep, yeah. If you see something on the daily that this low, like it's passing the deviations, that's when I put it on like the 2-day or something. Yeah. So if it breaks this little spot here, then 22 bucks. But I mean, look, these things don't move a lot. So you might be spinning your wheels with that one. I have to wait 6 months to make some money off that thing. I don't want to wait 6 months. Let's see.
Go back to the 1 day.
Yeah. But that was a good, another accumulation zone here that's happening. So you could put a alert on this instead. And if it crosses this, then you know that you could probably put an order in if you wanted to.
Okay.
You would have time. Which makes sense on the 60 as well, because it's hitting that VWAP. So this is a big area, algo area that they're concentrated on.
Yeah.
All right. CRM. Did I look up CRM for you guys? See, these are interesting ones. These are always interesting ones.
Oh yeah, they were in the news yesterday.
Like you see the initial candle here that I'm like moving on the daily. So either it's make or break for this asset today. Because there's still some downward pressure off this band, it might try to retest this 118 again. So people might get wrecked. It might not stay up here. If it falls below even this price at 137, then the next test will be 133. And then maybe it'll bounce at 130, right? So that would still put us in this criteria on the daily to keep playing this. But if it drops past this, this deviation right through here on the daily, so if it drops past this VWAP, it needs to bounce or so on. So you could probably, you could either wait or buy now, which is interesting because it's either going to drop here or it's going to shoot up like a rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting one because it has room through here. $146. It still has room to go up. I mean, I would have felt a lot more comfortable down here buying the bottom in this range. Would have been nice to find that. So you will see sometimes on these dailies that it's bouncing off the VWAP and continuing going up. You can play those because it has support with this band, right? It has a great trend with this deviation and the VWAP. They're just lined up together. So for this to keep playing, sort of look at the previous of the bands and see if you can see historically if it's played something similar, right? So this might,
yeah, right there at the beginning of 20.
So it might, yeah. So it could trick people, and drop lower. So you never know with these middle plays. This would be more of like an investment play than an active.
But it's already at the same level of the RSI.
We'll see. And the RSI technically hasn't touched, or did it? 32.
Yeah, it hasn't touched.
I don't know. I don't know. Might get burned on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really depends on how strong the index is this morning too.
This wouldn't have been on my list anyway. The 1 hour RSI is really high.
If the market gets smoked out this morning, and then there's this push in the later day, might want to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Is that all you got is GSM, or do you got anything else, market? Let's see what I can find here.
I got a couple more if you're looking for something. I got Burl, BURL, TK, Boeing.
Boeing. I was looking at Boeing just like 2 seconds ago.
ROST.
Yeah, I was trying to find, some that might be cheaper buys for others, but we could take a look at Boeing. Why not? Yep. You'll see a lot of this shit. These rollovers when it's hitting the VWAP like this on the smaller bands. So you really have to pay attention to those. But it's making support. It is bought here though, or beginning to become overbought. So there might be a retracement at this price at 321, which is fine because it's not affecting the overall direction yet. So if you put an order in, I would wait for that 321 range, or maybe even 320 to put my order in. So that would be something that I would look at. Let's see what else.
ROST.
Ross. Dude, that's yours, man.
Yep.
I even mentioned you last night. That's your baby.
That's my baby.
Yeah. See, I love seeing these strong bounces. See the way it's crossing the VWAP on the 5 minute is a lot healthier than the other ones because it's showing that these Bollinger bands, or people like to call them through this RSI, are squeezing, but the VWAP might pick it back up.
I hope so. I'm in at 3682.
3682?
Yeah, swinging. Wait, no, never mind. Sorry.
I'm like, damn.
No, never mind. That's TPR. My other baby is TPR. I forgot I got out of Ross. I wanted to wait till today.
Oh, all right. I was like, dang.
Sorry. I wanted to give you TPR, not ROST.
I like ROST.
TPR, I'm swinging at 3682.
Think it's gonna stay there? 36 what?
82.
Nice.
Yeah. Just after the reversal.
You really bought the bottom.
Tried.
The question is it gonna stay? Are you gonna still make profit? That's the question.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should get out today because I don't know if it wants to dip again.
Yeah, and the bands aren't really helping you either.
No.
If the bands look like this is a lot healthier than this.
Yeah.
But, and the reason why I say but, this shows me that the bands are starting to roll. Okay, which is normal, during a accumulation phase, that they will start to roll and level out and then start bouncing. So you kind of have to keep your mental, depending on how much money you're going to lose, right? If this thing decides it's going to test this deviation at 636.42, is it worth to hold? Probably not. But what if this was the initial candle and it's going to keep climbing? This would still keep rounding, right? It would still keep doing this, and so because the price is going to go up. So if we were to, let me just remove all these lines so I can do a better drawing. And I do this sometimes, really. Oh, too much coffee. All right, so let's just pretend that we know where the bands are going. All right, Muse, are you paying attention? This is your Elliott waves right here. If you want to do your predictions, this is it. So let's pretend that these bigger bands and the short bands are going to start rolling. Okay, here's our VWAP. So this is what could happen. Boom, 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 boom. That's one scenario. Or boom, 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 boom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll start crossing up that VWAP and hitting up in that $40 range. So it might retest this until the roll is complete, but at least you kind of see how you could play this.
Yeah.
If it can't break past this VWAP, it has in the past though, so that's a good sign. Okay, it's a lot bigger though now. There's a lot more room for failure. So there's a lot more room to go up, but there's also a lot more room to go down. Mm-hmm. So it's what you're looking at is this bounce right here at this price was 36.66. What's the price now? 36.30. Well, here we go. Bell's open.
Bell's open. We'll find out.
Start your engines.
Oh, it bumped up.
Did it bump up?
Yeah. I was sitting at $32 profit. Now I'm at 142. I got 200 shares. I bet small on this one because I'm trying to test to see whether or not I'm reading the charts right.
No. Are you playing for real?
Yeah, I'm playing for real.
Oh, sweet. Look at CRM because I'm playing that.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. We just were talking about. And that's why I was like, ha, ha, ha. All right. Look at that gap up, boys.
Ooh, I gap down.
Let's see.
PCY is holding. Yeah, I think my TPR is going to come back down to retest.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If it breaks this pathway, it's no good. So it needs that's.
Are you in Salesforce?
Oh, no. No. I'm just looking at my watch list. I'm just looking at the percentage change. No.
BURL, son of a gun. Man. But I couldn't play it. It didn't follow the criteria.
Makes you mad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't let it. There's so many more that you can play. And
yeah.
If you play this less risky attitude, you're going to be trading for a very long time.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Oh, I need to check out for that one guy. Bro, he was trading TIVX, bro. Guess where he bought at $46.
Uh-oh.
40,000. I did so much TA on this last night for this guy.
Hey, and Trump just said he might be willing to negotiate with China, so that might not help with the volatility.
And I told him that if it goes past 41, it's going to hit 37. So this is that range that we're talking about again. So it's testing right here. It might need accumulation before it goes up. But remember, this is the inverse. Okay, so it's doing whatever the opposite of what QQQ is doing, or the main indexes. If those are shooting up, this is shooting down. If the index is going down, this is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can play. That's why I have these 3 symbols here, because I'll play with them sometimes. Like Tisa, you could have played Tisa yesterday and made a couple bucks. So, there's always something you can trade in the market.
Ooh, bought high. Wow.
GDS is hitting the target. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There's a time to short, and then there's a time to let it ride. So that's sort of what I was telling this guy last night is it's either going to bounce here or it's going to drop.
Just got an alert on ROST that I had set.
Uh-oh. Good alert or bad alert? What's going on with it?
Good alert, I think.
Yeah, it is a good alert.
Yep. Good alert.
I like seeing green candles. Oh, also, guys, very, very important. When the market opens, turn your EXT off.
Oh shit.
Yep. Yep. It's because it's going to have different data from the night, and you don't need the night, you need the day.
Yeah.
So, because the way that the VWAPs average are differently. So it's very important to turn that off. But I got lines for Ross. I was looking at a TA for it or something for you, or maybe I was going to get into it.
Yeah, I put this on the watch list yesterday.
Yeah. Good job. I mean, if you're in this right now, it's going up.
Nice.
Beautiful. Looks great. Who else is Pac-Man? Pac. A modest 1,000 shares is making profit for me today on this one. And the biggest reason is because what I saw last night. So we're doing good. We're doing good on this one. Just needs to keep breaking through this band here, and then that thing is going to skyrocket. Modestly. Gotta always have that poker face on.
Yeah.
Even if you're up $3,000 in 15 minutes. Don't let them see you, boys. Don't let them see the fear. Or the excitement. You gotta hold that in. So let's see for GSM. That was one that we were looking at this morning. Still deciding. Still hasn't hit that 216 yet. But it could bounce here. You never know. It's risky, though. Pack is not as risky. Who's our winner this morning? Let's see.
Indexes are all up today.
Wow, look at this one, boys. See, this is, now hear me out. This is why we need more people looking at charts. Look where it gapped up.
Damn.
Yeah, damn. Yeah. See? That's what I'm saying. It's a whole army of people doing these, and we'll see these like massive, these highs. And let me put it on hiking so you can see this big ass candle. Yeah, man. There it is. All its glory. I like stuff like that, right? Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't? Easy to get out too. You can sell these quick. But you find that's because you put your purchase in like right on the open. You can get out real quick.
Yeah.
Unscathed. And it's the same scenario if we see something like this on the daily. It's still going. Let's see. Let's look at I wish all the candles change. Is there a way to fix that? To make all the candles change too? Or no?
Somebody had their candles all colored depending on what it was doing. I forgot who that was.
And here's another one here. TNX XP, I think, had a gap up this morning. I think they had a gap up.
How would you have been able to read the formula to predict that
You
kind of gap?
can't sometimes. The only thing that puts a smile on my face is sometimes the scanner can pick it up.
Yeah.
So, you know, it has to fit a different criteria. But boys, I'm here for the marathon. I'm not here for a sprint.
Yeah.
And it's a slow marathon, and it's full of people with wheelchairs. Like I'm not trying to be in first place. I'm just trying to build profit.
Mm-hmm.
Build my account each day. Accumulation. Knowing when to sell some of those tickers that aren't producing for me anymore. So, but it's still fun to see. I mean, I still like seeing, you know, this excitement in the markets. When I see, you know, a strong buy or a gap up or something, I love seeing those. Good example here. And it's also good practice too. If you see particular asset going up, then you can kind of be a detective or a researcher and say, okay, well, maybe when the bands look like this, maybe that's a sign it's going to go up, right? So you might spot some things that you wouldn't have seen before. Little indecision going on with Pack. Just needs to hold. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, I knew today was going to be a strong day. I love Wednesdays. It's my favorite when it comes to trading. It's my favorite day. What is up with this thing gets so wonky sometimes, my watch list.
Oh, where the tickers disappear?
Yeah.
Yep. Happens to me.
I've always had a lot of technical problems. BA's up. We were just talking about Boeing.
Yep.
MTDR is up.
Yep.
ACRS is up. JRO is trying to go up.
0.21, yeah. PCY is up. TPR is up.
So whatever, you know, what we're finding on these lists is proving successful.
Mm-hmm.
BURL is up, and they got earnings.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of my iffies, but I didn't want to play it. It didn't fully fit.
So that was I even put the OK watch list. That's what I put. Your name, OK, or whatever your initials. I don't. But so the ones I was playing yesterday, MGN, CEN, FT, all going up.
How's Canadians doing?
Ooh, let's see. Let's see what the old AI list is doing. A little iffy. Some of them still look pretty good. And that was and I think he's going to tweak some things too, because he uses bands as well. And he was noticing that some of his scans were not correlating with the bands. So there might have been like, you know, maybe a quick couple dollars you could make.
Who's he using for scanning? Is he using something good, or is he using Thinkorswim?
He wrote it. He wrote it on Python. Yeah, he did the whole GPU.
Well, what system is he touching to get
accelerator? I have no idea.
Hmm.
He's very like cryptic when it comes to his process, and we know that already. But he just told me what he wrote it on, which was Python. I don't know API or something, or where I'll try to like eat his brain up, and the best way to do that is just give him compliments. Oh man, this a scanner just wow, rocked my world. So blah 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 blah, and he'll be like, oh yeah, and this and this and this. Oh, so just like I was telling the guys, or telling OK, because OK is hardcore, like me, pay attention to airlines this week. Okay. And they are showing that they are in the top tier right now. Save is in the top tier. Whew. Up. Keep it together, Thomas. Keep it together. Look at this. The spirit in the sky, boys. The spirit in your pocket. So, and see, to like really hurt your brain, you would have found this a lot lower on the daily. And you would have been making sick profit. So, yeah, airlines drives you mad. You'll get used to it. It's a process of elimination. You just find the ones that you like the most and go with it. Oh, so Ori's not on, so I guess nobody goes in the Momo voice channel until Ori's on, because he's 20 years old, lives with his parents, so he knows a lot about the world. Especially if he loses his money, he still lives with his parents. Someone else, they might lose their house. $20% on crypto. Yeah, I've been paying attention. I mean, this shit really occupies you. Stocks, crypto. Did it drop to 3K last night? Oh, it could be a trap. Could be a trap. I'm looking for the initial bounce because I can see like a 1K move when it does that.
Damn.
So I'm looking down here still. This thing isn't ready yet. So for me, that says what? Volatility, right? Like, even though that's the name of our place or group here, we're able to see volatility with the bands. That's what they're designed for. But it also lets us know to be aware and not get into these traps. So people are like, hoo-hoo, right? And they're probably buying this up right now. Let's turn off the old band here. It's just a retrace. It's going to keep going. They have no idea how low this is going to drop. It's fine. Put the bands back on, and we got rules. Could see 41 again. It's $100. So it's important to see those where the other guys took profit because of these bands are going this way. The other bands are going this way. It's breaking this support that it had, right? So the next candle should be really getting this thing going down. Or it stays above and keeps climbing up. I think this was take profit, though. That's what I think. Anyways, back to stocks. Pay attention to airlines. Okay. Always pay attention to some of the pharmaceuticals because they like to play a lot. Another good example of, just holding on to watch list and, having different dates and stuff. I still have these, right, for reasons. Same thing with my my floats, right? Look at these. AMD, Cena. Cena's up today. Look at that. So there's so many different stocks out there that you put alerts on and pay attention. Look where this line was. Right through here, $59. This was something. Yeah. This was a similar play that happened with my PM or not PM SQ with Square. It was similar. I bought it at 55, sold it at $98. So, just something to look at. Check out what? JetBlue. You have to give me the ticker ID because I will. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you. What? Are you sure it's JetBlue? Wait, there it is. You messed me up. Turn this off back on the regular candle so I got more volume here. There we go. Resistance at $18. Is this the same one we're talking about? Okay. All right. Just making sure. Had a lot of growth. Look at this spike on that RSI though. Immediately it caught this resistance right here. So sometimes you'll see, okay, and this is a good example. Sometimes you'll see that the price will go above the deviation. The only way that you can ensure that this is going to keep going up is if it closes above this deviation. And as you see, it didn't. It dropped below. Okay. This part right here is called the panic. What do you mean? What is the deviation? Those are the Fibonacci ratios that I implemented. So they are, you got your first deviation where prices will either reject or keep going up. And then this right here becomes some of the higher risk areas of the price range. So sometimes they fall in a channel though. If they break, below or above, just think of them like a support and resistance. So anytime you see something that close above this deviation, like it clearly did, then it's probably done. Right? That's why I like to zoom out too, so I can see sort of the patterns of when this thing likes to reject. And it's clearly right through here. It rejects through this deviation and this deviation. So it doesn't like staying in this area. But we can do these so fast. Look, see, CRM is making the headlines, boys. Like when we get up in the top 20 of the best stocks of the day and top 10, we're doing things other people don't see. They get lucky.
Yeah, that's why I abandoned Momo trading, man. That's too damn risky. I don't like watching people being okay with being negative $2,000 to wait 5 minutes to see if they were right.
No, God, no.
Screw that.
No, it's stupid. And you'll see like their losses sometimes outweigh their wins by a long shot.
Yeah, and people are forgetful. The other group I was with, the owner had a losing streak the whole damn week. On video. What he didn't show you was after hours on video where he caught back up.
Exactly. So they only show the good. Okay. Mm-hmm. For me, since my discipline is so fierce, I don't have a lot of losing trades because I don't chase. So people that have more losing streaks in their history is because they chase. So let's just say, right, that I hit my stop loss hit. Damn, right? Maybe it dropped below and it lagged a little bit and I lost some money. Okay, that's okay, right? Because I have a max loss each day that I go by. So if it hits that max loss, I'm done for the day, right? I still have my long-term trades going. I'm fine for not doing any active trades. But once you have a system like we have, you are able to gain more profit because you're not taking as much risk. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot lately, but for the criteria of looking for stocks is the 5 minute, the 1 hour, and the daily. And I'm looking for over sold on the RSI, so around that 20 to 30 range. And I'm looking for the green bands. So I don't want anything in here. Okay. Because this becomes risky, this whole area.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can find something that looks tasty, like Pack looked tasty last night, we even talked about it, right? I exactly. You put your orders in, you make money. What if it goes up 15%? Well, you're still using the same system, right? You're still using that same risk-free, that low-risk system. We're not Momo trading. We found the diamond. So if I have 20 guys all doing the same thing that I'm doing, well, guess what? We're all going to find diamonds. So, and we need to enjoy this, till January, where I could see a bigger correction happening with the market.
Mm-hmm.
Which then, we'll switch gears. We might be looking for shorts then, shorts might have higher volume and will go down just as fast as these bull runs are going. So yeah, I'm in pack. I'm watching it. I was telling the other guys, I got like a ton of monitors that I'm checking. So pack's on there, but I'll show it on the bigger display so you guys can see it.
How many monitors you got?
At the moment, 4.
Is it worth it?
Then I have the 42 inch in the kitchen. Every penny. If you're a real trader and this is what you do for a living, you need to have those monitors so you can see what your trades are doing. Now, I still go to the gym and work out, right? But when I'm doing my TAs and stuff, I like to have, different monitors to look at different things, or if I'm programming.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's easier for me to switch screens and stuff without having to close down different programs or overlay stuff. Like, that's annoying. I couldn't even imagine trading on one monitor. I would go fucking nuts, dude. Because think about it. You have your platform, whatever you're using, right? So I have TradeStation, I have POS. So that's 2 monitors right there. Boom, taken. So now I need my programming monitor and then my trading view. But sometimes I'll use my programming monitor with trading view as well. So I have 2 trading view monitors open. So the other trading monitor open is looking at current stocks that I'm playing. But since we're a discussion group, to answer your question, for PAC, it was around $67 this range. So that was one that I put my order in. It didn't break the deviation. I was happy about that. So I'm still playing it. So, you know, that's why I'm always big on the monitors and stuff. It's a lot easier, But if people are like, yeah, I do some swing trading on Robinhood, I'm like, get out of here. Like, you don't need 4 monitors, dude. So I would, this is definitely for people that are playing with, some more capital and, they can afford those monitors. I don't want you like blowing your check on buying a whole bunch of monitors when you're not going to be actively trading and having the money to trade on the platforms. Right? You're wasting money. You got to save those money for those monitors into your platform that you want. I'm not going to try to get too personal, but has anybody broke the PDT threshold? PDT, pattern day trading. So if you're over 25,000, you're not in that PDT rule anymore. Is anybody over 25K yet? So I made this thing, this pack, I think the beginning of the summer. Whoever can get over the PDT rule, I'll hook them up with a nice gift.
What's your starting? I can start another account and just do it that way. I mean, I'm borrowing off my investment account, but I'll try
it. I choked on myself. No. Yeah, exactly. So that's another reason why I don't do live trading on my main account, because it's none of their goddamn business.
Yeah, when I lost that 10K, man, that stuff hurt.
Well, and see, the problem with me is when I have people watching me, is it kind of tenses up my emotional, or it takes that logical equation out of it. Like, great professors in the world are alone. Einstein, for the theory of relativity, said screw you to his wife and went into his room like he was a little child for 3 months, coming up with this massive idea that he came up with before technology was even technology. So this guy was like an innovator, but he had to do that by setting himself away from everyone else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me in the mornings, that's my Zen time. I don't want to show that shit. I don't give a about your little pennies and crap that people show on YouTube. Right? That's not, first of all, there are some days that I'm not making, a lot that much money, right? But there are other days that I'm making a lot more money. But I'm looking at a higher return on the month as opposed to weeks, right? So I'm seeing if I can double my profit each month. Sometimes I double it, sometimes I break even, but I don't feel confident or comfortable doing live trades on YouTube. If that means I'm not Mr. Popular and I don't have 100,000 viewers, who gives a shit? Because here's the point. If everybody knows this system, it's going to break. It's no longer going to work. People are no longer going to they're going to look at these and be like, you know what? Screw this ratio, this area here. We're going to buy quicker. We're going to set our algos at a different ratio than what he's using. Right? So it's going to throw off my trades. It's a real concern. It was a big concern, but I knew the audience of TradingView was so small and minute and immature and young, and a lot of them are inexperienced or new traders, that it wasn't going to affect the outcome of this strategy. But if I mainstream this sucker, then we got problems. So that's why, and the reason why I'm elevating my voice is because it frustrates me when I hear it, like constant all the time, just like, yo, you should stream this on YouTube. there's got to be other ways to market, you know. And even when I bring people in, I talk to them, you know. So I try to do like an interview process just to get an idea of who you are about, you know. A lot of the guys that are in the group are from another group that they were in, and they were getting screwed and they wanted something new. So I used to post charts, the same charts like these in that group, and they were very curious of what was going on. And people would PM me, hey, like, what is that? Well, you can only get so many different questions, you know, questions from people until you finally break. And you're like, God damn, I feel sorry for these crypto guys. Like, they're losing their ass. I'm not talking about crypto, dude. Not yet. Like, there'll be a season when we talk about crypto. That is not right now.
Would you say June?
I'm thinking summertime, sure. Unless it bounces strong on the 3K, but I think it's going to accumulate. I think it's going to do what it's doing right now, and then it's just going to keep going down. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just my life, you know, is very, very consumed already. So switching gears in a bear market with crypto, no thanks. Like, my brain will hurt because people will be getting wrecked, and they were already like getting messed up, you know, losing trades, trying to trade in these like bear markets. Like, it just does not work. And look what we're talking about again in chat, dude. Again. I'm just going to say it, dude, because it's like aggravating me.
You brought it up. I think I bought Litecoin a long time ago, 2 years ago. So I'm still positive, but barely.
No, I'm talking about the chat and Discord. We're talking about
I'm not following it.
Yeah. We're talking about AMD again. So
really?
Again, yeah, people who come into this chat, this is what they see. And that's why they leave.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what's new? And if I go, wow, look at CRM, man, up 4%. They'd be like, damn, CRM, how the hell did they find that one? Right? But if we're talking about AMD, nobody wants to know about AMD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to a million different websites and chat groups to talk about AMD. While there's 72% gainer, 25%, 18%, 12%, 12%, 12%, 10%.
Yeah, that's why no, man, I don't want to talk about those stocks.
But these are not like, these are safer plays than what they're talking about. These are already on the bottom. But using our system, we were able to make profit off them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's my point.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper. AMD costs what, 16, whatever, $20. But what if you can find something for 10 that's not risky, that goes up $15? That's my point. What if it takes, you know, a couple weeks? If you bought at the bottom, right? If we bought pack at the bottom, okay, who gives a shit if it stays at $68 for a little bit? We're still in profit. Before you know it, if it keeps accumulating, it's gonna keep climbing up. Before you know it, we're in the 70, in the 75 range, 80, right? Making money. So GDS. Let me scroll up and read. My vent is over. You guys now you guys understand my frustration. See, I just need people to back me up. Be like, look, you know, he makes a good point. All you guys talk about here is AMD. When it's one person, then it's like, I'm just the bad guy. When there's other people that also agree, then it doesn't look like I'm such the bad guy anymore. because I don't want that type of group. And I'm trying to be nice and respectful about it, but
Maybe you should make a t-shirt that says volatility traders, and on the other side it says no Momo.
no Momo. GDS. Yeah. It's hitting our line, bro. That's what we were talking about. And you see, like, it's already over bought on the 5 minute on those short bands. You see that? Short that shit. But I mean, your short should have been short at 29. Once it gets in this middle again, it could bounce again on you. So that's where you just have to be careful and try to short the top. We know even here. Oh, damn it. My EXT was on. That's all right. That's all right. It still looks the same. If it bounces, if it holds on this deviation where it's at right now, can you guys see that clear?
Yeah.
If it bounces here, it's going to keep going up. So it could wreck your short. Your short was here. So sometimes these things build a wedge. Okay. So they form a little bit of like an area where you have like your deviation line, okay, right here. And then you have your other line right here. Okay. So you build like this little channel, if you will. If it breaks this certain price at 28, then your next test was going to be 28.26. If it breaks that, then you have your other deviation that could bounce. Okay. I'm glad, dude. If that is the case, firm handshakes and give me some fucking coffee. You know what I'm saying? People think I'm joking, dude. Coffee fuels me, right? It motivates me.
Yeah.
And it congratulates, like I'm having coffee with you guys. If we were all in the same area, I'd be like, yo, I would have my MacBook, or we go, wherever, probably not Starbucks, because I got better coffee places out here I'd take you to. And we drink coffee and watch our trades and smile and drink our coffee and congratulate each other. That's the whole like mental part of why I like the coffee donations. Not about money. It's not about money. So we see this is the range here. So the bands are going to keep moving. Okay. These bands are going to keep moving. And this is going to get tighter and tighter until it breaks. So just watch that throughout the day. Right. Like if it retests this 29-ish range, I would be a little careful. How the upper bands look. Yeah, upper bands look a little high. They look a little high. So this right here, this whole play is this candle on the daily. Oh my gosh. Oh, this right here is this right here. So it needs, if you want it to be a bear, right? It needs to close above or below the VWAP. Right now it's testing it. This could be like just panic. Okay. These algos are like going at cajillion times a second, and they're selling this thing every time it tries to go past this VWAP. Sell. 40,000 orders going in a second. So we could be seeing the same thing happen. This could have been the initial sell-off right through here, right? This is where the VWAP's like, nope. And you got two VWAPs. So you got two areas of resistance. When the top bands curl down, but the bottom move up, top bands curl down like this, and the ones move up, that's divergence. Do you guys know what divergence is?
Yeah, it's the same thing as the divergence on the MACD.
Right. So there could be a V wedge forming where it could keep bouncing. So this was the initial bounce through here, right? Because they started curving up.
Mm-hmm.
And this was curving down. So there's your divergence. It's the same thing we look at on the daily. So it's really a question is if it goes past here, it's going to go higher. So if you shorted here, then you're losing your money. But you might lose more money if you try to sell now, right? Because I would just do like a stop loss or something or break even because you're going to be paying those fees. Damn commission fees, man. That's how those fuckers make their money. Excuse my French. That's why those guys hate me, man. Brokerages hate me. I don't get no discounts. I always feel like they charge me more each year because I do not pay that many fees. I'm not chasing trades, so I'm not like, shit, panic sell. Boom, there's another fee. Oh, let me buy it again. Boom, there's another fee. Nope. They got me that the brokerages used to get me that for years until I figured out my system. So here we go. Do-si do. What is the 1 minute doing? Okay. So this is an area of resistance before. So this could just be a trap, okay? Because this was the high area where it actually fell. So sometimes that 1 minute data gives you a little more information. Even though it was trying to push back up, it's this line that we made on that 5 minute, we're creating another channel. Boom, there it is. There's our channel. And you can make these so fast.
Sometimes stocks are playing the RSI bands very well, the price RSI bands very well. When do you look at the RSI bands?
I really don't, honestly.
Okay.
Like I only look at the bands when I'm trading in real time.
Okay.
Now, when I'm looking in my scans and stuff, then I'm looking at the RSI because I'm just trying to fit a certain criteria. But right now, this is how I'd be playing this trade. I don't have it on this indicator, but I was going to say, let's see what the buy and sell is saying. If it's still saying sell or buy, do you guys know? Because I took it off on this indicator. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I turned it off.
But you see it's getting weak.
Yeah.
It's losing. So it only has so much more room. Okay. So if we have this like band through here, if it keeps climbing like it is, right, we're forming like a wedge. You see? So it might do this thing. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep.
It's forming a wedge. So that's an easier way to, figure out what your trade's doing as well, is to create these channels through the bands that you just saw. And if you have to, you might have to like go back and look at the recording again and see how that was done. Back still going up. But see, a big reason why another reason why I don't do live trades is because sometimes people will say something like, hey man, your shit's going down, or you might want to watch out for this, like it doesn't look good anymore. That's your decision, right? That's your choice if you want to fire your worker or not. Like your other coworkers are not going to fire him for you. You have to make the decision because you're the boss. And you're the boss of these tickers, right? This is your factory. You want it, run. You don't need any outsiders telling you what to do. This is your goddamn company. So when it comes to, even when I'm like looking at something and I go, right. I'm not telling you to sell. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm just throwing out a little, like a hint, but that's going to be on you on what you decide to do. Just from my experience levels, I usually know when I see something still dropping that it's going to keep dropping, right? But depending on where you bought it, you could be losing money. So if you bought it really low and I'm saying sell, why, dude? Like I'm still up, I'm still up 5%. So that's why I just kind of keep that to myself. And why I don't do live trades. Because it would be messing with me. Someone's like, oh yeah, pack is going down, but like you better get out. And then I might start second guessing my trade. And then, now it's ruined. So very important to look at those. Profits in GSM. See where the bands are going? Where the deviation is now? See how it curled up right here? So it's creating that wedge even tighter. So if it breaks this spot, it's, it's becoming, because it's still fighting this resistance, right? So if it breaks, it can only do this so many times until it's like, all right, that's enough. You're done. All right. You're drunk. You're slobbering. You're drooling all over the place. You just yell at our secretary. Like, that's enough out of you. So I like throwing the analogies because it kind of it loosens up your brain a little bit. So you're not so tight on your thought process. So I just come up with these weird narrations and stories and storylines and shit. So, but sometimes it can get you out of harm's way. Right. So if it keeps acting up like this, you son of a bitch, you're out of here. All right. Your drunkenness is done. We're done with you. And the way we just keep deciding this is we keep moving up our deviation, where our deviation is, and it's right on it. So this thing is moving away, right? These bands are taking off while the price is stagnating. So if this completely breaks this support area here, it's going to fall 1,000%. And it's going right into our trap too, right into our wedge. Yes, Luca. Correct. So each dot is 1 minute. That's why I have those set to dots and not lines. So if I tick off the lines here, you can see it just has a itty amounts of support right here until it breaks. But because we did that TA on the other time frame, we're able to project where this is going. And this is something that we don't look at a lot, right? Because usually in the webinar before the trade starts. But I guess I'm in a good mood. Sometimes poker faces put you in a good mood. All right, so it's got 5 seconds to decide what it's going to do here. Do you see how like volatile that shit gets when that deviation slips from under it? It's pretty much instant. It's amazing. I love this thing. Dots bold? Yeah, if you want to, right? Like, oh, I don't want to fucking show that. That was the wrong script anyways, but free script. If you want to, you can go to your style, right? And it's a little tricky, okay? Because I do have a color theme set on these. It's a little tricky. Now, if you give me like, what the hell? You give me $50, I'll make a custom indicator for you. You can have whatever you want. Your colors. You can have your bold dots, whatever you want, bro. I'll do it for you. But if you want to go through and you can find out what these plot lines, like which one is the one that actually is filling. So it could be, you would just have to go through. But yeah, I use this slider here. You see how it's like making it thicker. There we go. So that's how you do that. Yeah. If you can't see you saying you're blind? You can't be as old as me. So there you go. It's nice and dotty. Dotty Bahati. But you see what happened, right? It broke that wedge. It's still going down. So our play up here is still making profit for us. And, right, because I'm so cool, since you guys like me so much, I can show you the other trick where we're seeing another wedge happening. I believe in wedges. Okay. Through here. Okay. Because that support that we just drew, that's our wedge. You guys see how I came up with that?
You're going from the top of the gap up, just coming down?
Right. But how did I find those? By the supports that we made before. Okay. So we made that channel from the bands before it's different now, right? It formed the bands move. So we made this before. So we have a channel here. So I just went from the top of our sell order, right, to the bottom of the support. And it's forming a wedge because you can see how the bands are moving away from the candles. Okay. So the bands are going this way. The candles are going this way. So we have a wedge.
Okay.
So what we could see happen is now, since we already got this correct, right? This little wedge that we made was perfect. It fell exactly where the little arrow that was dipping down. So now we have another thing going on. So if it drops here, it could go here. And this could be, just to give you an idea of how long the actual short's going to take to make some more profit. It could do something like this. So maybe by lunchtime, it'll be over here somewhere. Okay. It really depends on how this outcome happens with this VWAP. It's that the VWAP is crawling through here, right? And these bands are sort of correlating like this. That's why I'm seeing that, because it's reflecting off these. Now it looks like a damn art miss, but basically, yeah, it's bouncing off these deviations, but eventually it's going to start crossing that area of resistance too much, and then it's going to fall through. It's always important to identify the high and the low. Okay, there's your high. Have we gone higher than that? No. Okay, that's a whole part of like pivot candle trading. That's how I used to trade back in the day. The pivot trading, which I still think is a very good method. I had like a whole formula that I used to use. I'll have to send it to you guys. How I used to trade. This is just outright profit. This thing is a machine. That's why I love Wednesday. Uh-oh. Getting an alert. MTDR. There's my line.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So even though the trades are already set, right? My orders are set. I'm not in this particular one. I'm constantly doing TA on others to see if it looks like it's a good time to buy, or like sayonara, this thing's going down lower. So it's just those little visual references for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And again, you can put these strong resistance and support lines, and the bands create wedges for you. So if the bands are, if they're going to keep doing this thing, it's creating a wedge, is it not? Because it becomes the resistance for it. So let's say it does bounce, then it could reject here again and keep rejecting until it finally dips down. So this is a really good way of making these predictions of how long it's going to take. All right. So what's Elliott waves do? Something similar, correct? You project where you think the price is going to go, right, by making these different patterns of the Fibonacci retracements, right? But we're doing this in real time. So we always know what's going on. So it's breaking through here. So the next support is way down here at $20. If it can't close above it. So I guess that's my point with the correlation with Elliott waves and how we do it here, is it does that for you. That's why I like to say about this indicator is that it's very simple and very complex in the same sentence, which you guys are learning. Anyways, I think that is a good enough webinar for today. We keep going much longer. I'm not even gonna have to do one tomorrow. just keep this one going. So good luck out there. I appreciate you guys talking to me. And we will keep an eye on the crypto. I'm not like putting it away forever, because I do see that it's getting into that oversold zone. So, I haven't forgot about it. There's a lot of guys in my group that still trade crypto, so I'm sure they are looking for some good news as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.
All right. See ya.
See ya.